Welcome back to the third and final segment of the Loveland Report and Loan Arranger Show. We've been talking about the rates. We've been talking about selling during the holidays. I can get it done for you. I don't know what anybody else is telling you. We've been talking about where they're going with the rates, what's happening. We're talking new construction. I want to dive a little more into that this segment, Bruce. But real quick, I just want to mention something. I've got a transaction. When it closes, I'm going to all those people that text you on your phone saying we'll buy your house, and the email you get and the phone call you get from the call center.
You don't
in
have
Pakistan.
to have anybody coming through the house. You don't
Yeah.
have to pick up your underwear,
Well,
and
is
we'll
this-
buy it and close in 21 days.
So I got a house, should close around 530,000. You know what
Yes.
the buyouts were?
You mean what, a cash buyer?
The
One
cash
of these?
buyer. It was a bunch of double speak. Couldn't really pin them down, but the one number that kept popping up was 430,000.
Oh, 100,000 off?
Yes.
80,000
So
off.
it's like, and the owner was a little stressed about putting the house on the market, but I said, is that worth it to have
$80,000?
4 or 5 people a week look at your house? We did a pre-listing inspection. We did some things. She had to move some stuff around, but she was going to move anyway. So she had to pack some things up.
Well,
But-
you know, I often think you get that initial price and then they come back later.
They do.
And
They
they,
do that too.
drop
So-
the price even
and
more.
or run, bring over a Greyhound bus full of investors saying, who's going to buy this home? This is a great
Right.
deal. And you get some, yahoos that just went to a seminar and paid $5,000 for the weekend to do a hard money loan on your house and trying to make the numbers work.
Yes.
And that doesn't work either. So you want top dollar, call me. I can help you with that. But most of those, anybody talking to you on your phone, Bruce, I can open my spam right now. I got probably about 20 companies that send me spam on all my listings.
Sure.
So I had to modify my listings because I had people complaining that I wasn't presenting offers. So all my sellers, I tell them, all right, if somebody doesn't come look at the house, we're not going to look at their offer. And if somebody doesn't come in within at least 80% of list price, we're not going to reply to the offer. So I had to do that in my listing contract to keep myself.
Well, that's because you get these yahoos that just
Yeah.
want to lowball you.
Well, every listing that hits the MLS, I think I don't know if it's a bot or what it is, or they got a bunch of kids sitting in a boiler room pumping out offers, but they send out an offer for like 60% of list price.
I'm getting phone calls on every property that I own saying, hey, I'm calling you about your property at blah, 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 blah. Okay. It's not on the market.
Yeah.
It's not up for
They're
rent.
calling everybody. Used to just be if you'd been an old listing, like that you were listed before, or they got you off an estate sale list. So you want top dollar. It is worth it. I can help you with it. It's not that big a deal to go on the market and have people looking at your home. If you're busy, you're only going to be on the market for a couple of weeks and then
That's
you're
right.
sold.
And if you got it priced right, you don't have to worry about
All
that.
right. So just don't do the buyouts. You're giving away a big chunk of what you've earned and worked so hard to make your house look good and all the money you've paid into it and invested in it. So Bruce, I want to talk new construction for the rest of the show.
Okay.
What's going on with Trinity? What's going on?
So Trinity's doing great. We had a big event, grand opening over in DeLand for one of their new communities. Great community. Love these properties. You buy a Trinity home, they'll pay all your closing costs. They'll pay all your closing costs, up to 6% toward your closing costs,
Wow.
which is a huge amount of money to get all your closing costs paid. So all you need is your down payment. If you're a veteran, you're in for no money down. If you're FHA, you're in for 3.5%. You're conventional, you could be in for 3 to 5% down. And I'll get everything else taken care of for you.
And that's how you lock in that, like you can lock them in like a 5% fixed rate, possibly.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
You combine that much closing costs, you could do some heck of a buy downs to where you don't have to refi in the future. Now, another thing I'm seeing right now, some of these builders are starting to introduce, and even other lenders are starting to introduce adjustable rate mortgages.
Haven't seen
Why
those yet.
wouldn't they do adjustables when we're hitting 8%? Why are they doing adjustables now that
I
we're
don't
getting
know.
down
Why-
to 5?
why
You
is
know
that?
why? Because it's a trick. It's a banking trick. They've been doing it for years. Clients don't realize it. They get sold a bill of goods. Well, it's fixed rate, but it's fixed for 3 years. All it is, it's a forced refinance. It's like a lease.
They know
on
they're
a
going to
car.
call in 2 years.
It's a
saying
lease
we
on a
should-
car.
Okay, I
You're
see.
going to have to refinance it at some point.
Understood.
So don't fall for
Because I used to
gimmicks
have
like
all
that.
adjustables.
Well, I don't
15
have
years ago, I had all
listen,
adjustable rate.
I'm not
mortgages.
opposed to adjustable rate in the right
Well,
market.
not right now,
but
yeah.
you don't do an adjustable rate in a fixed rate market. Don't
Yeah.
be stupid. That would be a stupid
Well, I think
mistake.
that's what's important about people talking to you. And realtors, I can't say enough about how if you want to make sure your buyer can buy something, make sure you turn them over to Bruce, have his team get all their information, and you will know exactly what they can afford and exactly what needs to be done and exactly how to negotiate the deal too. He will tell you, we need X amount for closing costs. They are good to this price. You follow that, you've got a happy family moving into a home.
You know, Cleve, it's so true. I've got a client right now. A realtor called me up and said, Bruce, can you call this client? Because I don't feel comfortable with the direction that the mortgage is going in. So I said, okay. They went and they chose a mortgage guy that's in one of their networking groups. Okay. Now, this mortgage guy supposedly been doing it for 25 years. Okay. That doesn't mean anything to me because I know people that still don't do it right after 25 years. So anyway, the client called me and said, I need to just run some things by you because I don't know if this thing's going right. I don't want to jump ship just yet and go with you. But I said, well, are you approved? Yes. What type of loan do you have? I don't know. He says, I want a loan that can recast. Well, I talked to him. I'm like, you're 1099 and you've only been doing it for 2 years. And your first year, you only made $20,000. This year you made 80. Your average is going to be this. You're not going to qualify for that mortgage already. I can see that happening, but there's other ways that I can get you to qualify using other avenues. He's not of a retirement age, so you can't do an asset depletion loan for him, but there was a way I could make it work. And I asked him, I said, do you want to switch now? Because if you're closing in less than 30 days, you better make a decision now as to whether you're going to continue to go in that direction, because he didn't know if he even had an approval. He didn't know what type of loan he was.
And how long had he been in process?
He'd been working with this guy for almost 2 months.
Oh my
and
God.
The realtor is like, oh, Bruce, I want to switch him, but I don't want to get involved. And it's just a hairy
If
mess.
somebody gets you all their docs, how long do you know about what's going on?
24 hours.
Yeah. I mean, that's right. And usually the delay is they didn't get you something.
The delay is always that
they're hunting for something, or their CPA hasn't sent over their tax returns.
That's correct.
Something like that.
But I have tax return analyzers. So once you give me your tax returns, I put them through a shred it machine and it spits out how much income I can use for you. So
it reads the tax return.
It reads the tax.
What room is that? I have not seen that machine.
Oh yeah, it's insane.
That's great. I want to see that device.
There's a guy back there with bicycle pedals, and he's pedaling like crazy.
Well, you get the loans done. So are you seeing jump over to refis real quick. What's going on right now? I mean, what rate does somebody need to be at?
It's a really good question, because right now we are in between, where some people it's truly benefiting and some people it's not benefiting as much. Here's who's benefiting from refinancing right now. Clients that currently have an FHA loan that bought anytime from 2022 till yesterday. Okay. Clients that have a VA loan that bought in 2022 till yesterday.
Okay.
Conventional, it's iffy, because conventional interest rates aren't quite as attractive.
Did they get 7 3/4, or do they get 7 7/8?
So if they've got a 7 1/4 rate right now, it's probably worth entertaining, but it depends. Some conventional loans, I'm riding it out through the end of the year.
Now, what if somebody did a bank statement loan that might be like at 8 or 8.5?
Well, if they're converting that to a non-bank statement
if they can finally get conventional.
Then, well, I've got a lot of those. So a lot of those clients, but you have to remember, a lot of people that get bank statement loans, they're getting bank statement loans because they're writing
everything off. Yeah.
Their tax returns, and they're not showing any income.
Say somebody was
so
close,
they need another bank
had to get a
statement
house,
loan.
divorce, something happened, those kinds of things. But I just think it's important they just talk to you about what's the next step.
You know what? You're not going to get a high pressure sales job from me. Matter of fact, there's probably about 25% of the people that I talk to that I say, you know what, let's just get the documents together and let's hold off and watch the market. Okay. Now, you're not going to get that from any other lender. They just won't do it. So you've got to be able to have a lender that you can talk to, that you can count on, that's going to say, hey, you should do it, and here's why, or I think we should wait, and here's why.
And I do that for people when I help them with their real estate plan. I have sellers that I go see, and we start talking. I'm like, all right, sounds like you got this and this and this that needs to happen, and other things outside their control. I said, maybe we need to wait 3, 4, 5 months. I've got some people. I just talked to a gentleman. Son's not out of high school until next year. Then he's downsizing.
Sure.
So probably need to go on the market March, April, May.
But there's all kinds of reasons people need our services, whether you're buying, selling, refinancing, you need equity out of your property, you want to do home improvements and stay with the one you have. You found a house, but it's kind of a dumpy house and you need renovations on it. I got it. You got a lot, you want to build on it. I can build a house on it. We can get you connected with a builder. We can take care of all those kind of things. Construction loans, renovation loans, reverse mortgages, home equity line of credit. You name it, I got it. So there's a lot of reasons people need to write my phone number down, 407-250-9144. or webringyouhome.com. We got about 4 minutes.
All right. Loveland Properties, 407-352-8118. Another thing, too, they need to get their information in and be ready, because right now rates have ticked up because of the Fed cut.
Highly advised.
Probably going to
all your
settle
docs
down
into.
over hopefully government shutdown ends next week or so. And highly, should settle down. Rates, do you think they should float down until the next cut, which is December?
It's really hard to tell what's going to happen now
Yeah.
that Powell just yapped his pie hole and said that we may not have another Fed cut. So I think once the government shutdown's over, I think things will start to stabilize a little bit. But for right now, I think that people are just sitting kind of waiting to see what happens with interest rates. And to be honest with you, interest rates are pretty attractive right now. So you know what we say, pigs get fat and hogs get slaughtered. So don't be greedy. If it looks like the numbers work for you, then do it. If it doesn't work for you, don't do it. I look for what's called a 36-month break-even period, meaning you need to break even on your cost of the refinance within 36 months or less. Now, I prefer 12 to 24 months, but that can be difficult to get, and it might not ever happen. I had a client the other day. I could refinance them right now and save them $550. They told me it wasn't enough money. So they said, well, we're going to wait till it hits the fours. So I said, what if it never hits the fours? Well, we don't know. I said, so if you did not refinance, you cost yourself $120,000 by not refinancing because you got greedy. Now, if it does hit the fours, I'll refinance you again. You don't pay lender fees with me when you come back to me for a refinance. 407-250-9144 or webringyouhome.com. I am the Lone Ranger. So we got people looking at refinancing. We got people looking at purchasing. I don't think enough people are purchasing right now that should.
DSCRs, dive into those.
Dive into a DSCR, debt service coverage ratio, self-employed transaction, non-owner occupied property. The only income I need is the income that the rent produces on the property. You put down 25%, and as long as the rent on that property is equal to your payment, that's all we need. The better your credit,
because they actually
the
do an
lower
appraisal.
your rate.
They do an appraisal based on rents in the area, correct?
They do appraisal based on value and rent.
Mm-hmm.
So that appraiser tells me what the rents are. Now, rents are pretty subjective because think about it. Do you report all your rental properties to some portal? No. Do I? No. So how does the market know what average rents are?
Well, MLS has a good chunk of them in there.
Well, they don't have they have a chunk, but they don't know if I wouldn't know if I'd call it a good chunk, because the only ones that they have handles on are what are reported or go through an agency.
Yep.
Now, even though you are an agency, because you are a licensed property manager, do you have to report what you're getting for rent from a particular property?
It's in MLS. Yeah, it's in MLS.
So that's where they're picking up yours.
Yeah.
They don't pick up mine.
No, they don't.
And any other other landlord that's not in MLS, I don't know
the ratio. One thing I don't know the ratio of how many properties are managed by the owner and how many are under professional management. And I would think it'd probably be half and half.
Well, you
I don't know.
take my Daytona properties. I got 2 of them in Daytona. Both of them are fully furnished.
Yep.
The average rent in that area is about $1,650. I get 26 on one and 28 on another. Why? Because it's fully furnished.
Yep.
And I pay for the utilities.
Yep.
So, but MLS, if they saw my numbers, I'd throw all the rents off and all the rents would look like they're higher.
We actually have categories that can say month to month, furnished, unfurnished. We have categories for that. So
if it's reported.
But yeah, if it's reported. So in MLS. But I mean, mine run through MLS, but I just don't know that ratio. Anyway, great show. Enjoy talking to you guys about what's going on with rates. You can always call me at 407-352-8118 for your real estate plan. We are getting closer and closer to Turkey Day. We'll talk to you next week.
We are. Yep. And for the Lone Ranger, you can call me now at 407-250-9144. That's 407-250-9144 or webringyouhome.com. Join me tomorrow, same station at 11 o'clock. We have more to talk about. We will see you then. Have a great weekend.